An annoyed security guard leans back in his chair and complains that it is seriously ridiculous. While watching the CCTV footage on the computer screen in front of him, he mutters that it is not as if something valuable has been stolen. He adds that this is the first time in his life that he has been asked to check security footage just because a few bananas have gone missing. A boy wearing a shirt and tie stands beside him and reminds him that he has already said it will only take a second. The boy points at the screen and says that the moment they need should be around there. Then, when he sees himself appear in the footage, he excitedly points it out and says that he is right there. Looking even more carefully, he soon spots something else and indicates another point on the screen. A faint light can be seen shining on a desk in the office. However, after studying it closely, the boy scratches his head in frustration and complains that Employee Lee's head is blocking the view, making it difficult to see clearly. The guard lazily moves the mouse and asks what exactly the boy is trying to look at. Then he turns toward him and tells him that if he is finished, he should go back to work. The boy quickly asks him to wait. He politely requests that he also show yesterday's footage and promises that it will be the last favor he asks for. Leaning back in his chair with irritation, the guard complains that he has only just returned from lunch, is extremely tired, and now has to deal with this. Trying to persuade him, the boy offers to buy him a cup of coffee later as thanks for helping. The footage soon switches to the previous day. The office appears completely empty. Darkness fills the room, and silence hangs in the air. The boy carefully watches the recording and thinks that if his theory is correct, the strange event should happen around that time as well. Suddenly, he points toward another glowing spot on the screen and announces that he has found it. Both of them immediately notice something unusual. The boy stares at the screen and asks what in the world that thing is. The footage continues to play. Inside the cave-like darkness of the office, something appears to be moving rapidly through the air. The boy nervously comments that it looks like something is flying around inside the room. Then, without warning, a small bat appears on the screen. The boy instantly freezes. His eyes widen in shock. The guard's eyes widen as well. Sweat forms on both of their faces as fear quickly spreads through them. The guard jumps and shouts in alarm, demanding to know what that thing is. In the following moments, both of them lean closer to the monitor and carefully examine the footage. The small bat is sitting on top of the desk. Even stranger, it seems to be holding an instant coffee packet in its tiny hands. The boy stares in disbelief and asks whether it is actually a bat. The very next moment, an intense golden-white magical light explodes across the desk. The flash is so bright that it covers the entire screen. When the light fades, the bat has completely disappeared. Seeing this impossible event, both the boy and the guard stand frozen in place. Shock and fear fill their faces as they stare silently at the dark screen. Far away from the office, a small red bear cub named Queuing walks sadly along a road. Holding a stick in one paw, he drags his feet forward while thinking that he is in serious trouble. In a sorrowful voice, he complains that all of them have flown away and that even his snacks are gone. At that moment, his stomach growls loudly. The hungry cub grabs his belly and cries that he is starving. However, despite his hunger and sadness, he quickly gathers his determination. He firmly reminds himself that he still has to find his father. Raising the stick high into the air, he marches forward with renewed energy and loudly declares that he will do his best and find his dad no matter what. Just then, a large green snake slithers toward him. Its tongue flicks in and out as it watches him closely. Without warning, the snake hisses aggressively and lunges at him with its huge mouth open, ready to bite. But Queuing remains completely fearless. His innocent expression does not change at all. With a loud thud, he swings his stick upward. The stick slams directly into the roof of the snake's mouth. The snake crashes to the ground and nearly faints from the intense pain. Queuing calmly walks over to the injured snake and politely asks whether it has seen his father anywhere. The snake can only lie on the ground crying from pain. Seeing that it is unable to answer, Queuing sadly remarks that it is no help at all. Suddenly, another predator appears. A large black panther bursts from behind the bushes. With a furious roar, it leaps toward Queuing. The bear cub does not even bother turning around. Without looking, he casually swings the same stick behind him. A loud crack echoes through the area. The stick strikes the panther directly across the face. The powerful beast is instantly knocked unconscious and collapses flat on the ground. Only then does Queuing turn around. Looking at the fallen panther, he asks whether it has seen his father. The panther can only whimper weakly in pain. Tears begin forming in Queuing's eyes. He looks around the forest and loudly calls out for his dad. Meanwhile, the terrified panther remains lying on the ground with a confused expression, almost as if a question mark is floating above its head. Sniffling sadly, Queuing admits that he is becoming extremely hungry. His stomach growls once again. Then a delicious scent drifts through the air. The smell instantly catches his attention. His eyes sparkle with excitement as he wonders what that wonderful smell is. A moment later, he recognizes it. Happily dancing in place, he declares that it is a familiar and delicious smell. Unable to resist, he quickly follows the scent. He runs down the jungle path at full speed while the unconscious snake and panther remain lying behind him. Elsewhere, the banana farm has finally returned to its healthy green color. The banana trees that once looked sick now appear vibrant and full of life. Two small monkeys happily celebrate as they see their beloved farm restored. Nearby, a large monkey with a golden marking on its forehead kneels before Sejuan among the banana trees. With tears in his eyes, he sincerely thanks the great black dragon for saving them. Sejuan smiles awkwardly and replies that there is really no need to thank him. He explains that if anyone deserves gratitude, it is actually the monkeys. As he stretches both hands slightly forward, magical light radiates from them. Sejuan explains that thanks to restoring the trees, he has been able to greatly increase the level of his new skill. Beside him, a blue system notification window appears. It clearly displays the message, Farmer's Warm Touch. Level 3. However, Sejuan's expression soon darkens. He clenches his hand and thinks sadly that his success has also come from the mysterious authority he has suddenly gained. Unfortunately, it has cost him a large amount of tower coins. After collecting himself, he tells everyone that they should stop worrying and focus on eating and resting. Behind him, a bat quietly flies through the air. Theo stands nearby holding a basket, while a small monkey happily dances beneath him. Soon, dish after dish appears. The large monkey stares in amazement and asks what all that food is. The first dish is a plate of roasted sweet potatoes. Next comes a bowl of cherry tomato soup. Looking at the meal, Sejuan explains that he has put quite a bit of effort into preparing everything. Then comes a large fish labeled salt-grilled fish. After that appears a bowl labeled spicy squid stir-fry. Finally, Sejuan presents honey potatoes as the finishing touch. He drizzles sweet honey over a boiled potato. The sight immediately causes one small monkey to drool. Laughing, Sejuan hands the potato to the monkey. The monkeys begin eating enthusiastically. Some carefully blow on the hot potatoes before taking bites. Others happily sip the soup. One particularly excited little monkey stuffs an entire honey potato into its mouth. As Sejuan walks among them, one monkey holding a bowl of soup asks what the dish is. It says that it has never tasted anything with such a sweet and sour flavor before. Another monkey shoves a huge piece of potato into its mouth and happily declares that it is incredibly delicious. Meanwhile, one monkey suffers greatly after trying the spicy squid dish. It feels as though flames are shooting from its mouth. The monkey cries that its tongue hurts terribly. However, after taking a spoonful of soup, its expression immediately changes. It admits that the food is amazingly delicious and wonders what kind of dish it is. On another side of the gathering, Theo happily chews on a large fish while a monkey beside him enjoys a potato. After the meal ends, the large monkey approaches Sejuan while holding an empty bowl. With tears in his eyes, he thanks Mr. Sejuan once again. Then every monkey in the tribe drops to the ground and bows deeply before him. The large monkey proudly declares that from that day onward, their monkey tribe will serve Mr. Sejuan. Holding his bowl, Sejuan looks extremely uncomfortable. As he watches the monkeys worship him, he thinks that the situation is giving him indigestion. He quickly tells everyone that it is enough and urges them to relax and simply enjoy their food. Suddenly, a terrifying roar echoes across the jungle. The sound is so powerful that the ground itself trembles. Sejuan, Theo, and every monkey jump in shock. Still holding his food bowl, Sejuan stands up and asks what that terrifying noise is. The large monkey's face immediately turns pale. Nervously, he curses under his breath and announces that she has arrived. He explains that it is Garina, the daughter of Gorin, the chief of the gorilla tribe. Heavy footsteps shake the earth. Moments later, a gigantic female gorilla bursts through the bushes. Her face is filled with anger as she marches forward. Then she suddenly stops. A strange and dangerous smile spreads across her face. She announces that she can smell something delicious. The large monkey immediately turns towards Sejuan and urgently tells him to evacuate as quickly as possible. He promises that they will somehow hold her back. Two small monkeys step forward bravely. One holds a club while the other carries a spear. Although trembling with fear, they declare that this is their territory and order her to leave. Garina glares at them. She comments that it rained earlier, which perfectly matches her gloomy mood. The moment she finishes speaking, she completely loses control. With tremendous force, she slams her enormous hand into the ground. The impact sends numerous small monkeys flying through the air. Watching in terror, the large monkey explains that whenever Garina is in a bad mood, she craves sweet things. Garina angrily raises her hand again. However, her attention is suddenly drawn elsewhere. She notices a small monkey clinging tightly to Sejuan's leg. In its hands is a half-eaten honey potato. The sweet smell immediately catches her attention as her eyes lock onto the delicious snack. Her eyes immediately light up the moment she sees the sweet potato. Excitement fills her face, and she instantly lunges toward it while shouting that it looks delicious. Her sudden charge frightens the other monkeys so badly that they scatter in every direction, scrambling away in terror. When Sejun sees Garina rushing straight toward him at incredible speed, a cold sweat breaks out across his forehead. Panic fills his heart as he exclaims that she is charging directly at him. Realizing that he needs to protect himself, he quickly raises one hand toward the sky. Blue magical energy begins radiating from his palm, spreading outward in waves. At the same time, he activates his skill and shouts for dark clouds to be created. Almost immediately, thunder begins rumbling across the heavens. The clear sky darkens as massive black clouds gather overhead, covering the area with a threatening shadow. The atmosphere becomes heavy and tense. The moment Garina notices the dark clouds forming above, she comes to a sudden stop. A giant shadow appears over her head, making the scene look even more intimidating. Not wanting to waste a single second, Sejun quickly activates his next skill. Pointing toward his target, he shouts the name of the attack, Thunder Throw. A powerful blue lightning bolt instantly descends from the dark clouds, tears through the sky with incredible force and races directly toward Garina. The brilliant flash illuminates the entire area as the attack closes in on her. However, Garina reacts immediately. With a simple movement, she summons a gigantic stone wall from the ground. The enormous barrier rises upward with a loud rumble and positions itself directly in front of her like an unbreakable shield. A moment later, the lightning bolt crashes into the stone wall with tremendous power. A deafening explosion echoes through the area. Sparks and electric energy spread across the surface of the wall. Yet despite the strength of the attack, the stone barrier remains standing. The lightning disperses harmlessly across the rock and fails to reach its target. Seeing this unexpected result, Sejun is completely shocked. Fear appears on his face as he nervously says that the attack has been blocked. He can hardly believe that his powerful lightning strike accomplishes nothing. Behind the massive stone wall, Garina slowly peers forward. Her glowing red eyes glare intensely in Sejun's direction as she demands to know who attacked her. Her voice carries a dangerous tone that makes the atmosphere even more frightening. Then, in the very next moment, she casually shatters the enormous stone wall. The giant structure breaks apart as though it is made of fragile glass. Countless pieces of rock scatter everywhere while dust fills the air. Just as Sejun prepares himself for another attack, something completely unexpected happens. Suddenly, large hearts begin appearing in Garina's eyes. The anger on her face vanishes and is replaced by excitement and admiration. Looking toward Sejun, she enthusiastically asks who the strong male is that dares to attack her. Witnessing this bizarre and unbelievable change, Sejun becomes completely stunned. His mind goes blank and he can only gasp in shock. He cannot understand what is happening. The small monkey that is clinging to his leg becomes so frightened that it accidentally drops its half-eaten sweet potato onto the ground. Its eyes widen as it stares at Garina in disbelief. Meanwhile, Theo watches the scene with the same astonishment. He stands frozen, unable to process the strange turn of events. Even he has never expected something like this to happen. Completely love-struck, Garina suddenly rushes towards Sejun again. This time, however, there is no hostility in her actions. Huge hearts fill her eyes as she stretches both arms toward him. Her expression is filled with affection and excitement. While charging forward, she loudly shouts that he should marry her. At that exact moment, terrifying blue lightning crackles across the sky once more. The dark clouds continue rumbling overhead, making the situation feel even more dramatic. Sejun's face instantly turns pale. Every bit of color drains from his cheeks as fear overwhelms him. Tears begin forming in his eyes while countless worried thoughts race through his mind. Looking at the charging Garina and the chaotic situation unfolding around him, he can only think despairingly that he is in extremely big trouble. The realization makes him feel as though he has fallen into a disaster far worse than any battle he has faced before.